Hey guys, Vandy, back in Card Fight Vanguard commentary fight video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't like, subscribe, and watch, shall we? This time we are covering Dragon Empire versus Lyrical Monasterio, Nirvana crossovers versus Wilista. I said in the last one that I wasn't gonna do this where I watch the actual video while it's uploading to YouTube, but I'm here to experiment, so hopefully this works and doesn't glitch out my upload, and if it does, well, screw me. So this time we got a pretty good fight. I actually enjoyed recording this. I hated editing this because during the last bit of editing, every time I tried to edit something, it would lag and I had to just quit iMovie, and I sat there basically for an hour trying to do one thing because it kept restarting me. Thankfully it's over. Let's go and get this started, shall we? And we can see how fun this is, because I didn't get to do all my edits because I was just so annoyed with the editing process. So yeah, go spacebar. I could probably skip the intro, but there is something that happens in the intro that I do want to show, so I'm gonna let the intro play out on this one.
Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
There's
no way Nirvana wins this match. It has one of each cross overdress and regular overdress, and it has 3 different Nirvanas in the deck. There's no way it can win. It's 100% gonna go to Wilista during this.
So yeah, for the record, the day I'm recording this, and the day I recorded this video, just like the Zorga one, where I recorded both videos in the same day and edited both of them in the same day, this is all happening in the same day. This video was shot, recorded, edited, and then this video that you are watching right now, the one I'm talking in, not the one I'm talking over, was all recorded today, March 22nd, on Wednesday, starting at 3:38 p.m. is when this video that I'm talking in now is being recorded. So, there's that. So all of this pretty much happened in the time span of one day, which proves how fast I am, but also, just, let's just go over the deck. So first up, this is my first time using both variants of these decks. The Wilista one is somewhat new. It's basically my Wilista deck from before, except I run the new Grade 3 in the Ride deck, and I also run the, yeah, by the way, obviously excuse misplays, because first time using either of these decks, these versions of them, which play very differently than the other ones. But I run the new Grade 3 over the old Grade 3 in the Ride deck, and I think I run 2 copies in the main deck of the OG, and if I don't, I run 3. And then I still run, obviously, the main 3 of this one, and then I have my order over here for a Sweet 4 of. So that's pretty solid. Anyways, and then we have Nirvana. Nirvana is exactly what I said at the intro. Outside of the 3 prayer dragons, which are all 3 ofs, Strigalio, Miraboy over here, and Brahmada, which I'm now realizing I somehow drew all of them into my hand. Outside of those 3 cards and the 3 trick stars in the main deck, and the PGs, every normal unit is a 1 of. That means I have 1 copy of, and I quote, Village Virina, Garo Virina, Brahm Virina, Baru Virina, Mirror's Virina, Expecta, Regular Virina, Virina Arcs, Virina Valiente, Virina Urger, and Virina Esparidia. And I also, so by the way, that's 11. And then I have 1 of copy of Mahar Nirvana. Sorry about this music being so quiet, by the way. I recorded this early in the morning, and I didn't want to, wake up people, so sadly this music had to be quiet, and I meant to edit it out, but again, that last hour was so just annoying, I didn't feel like going back at it, because I have this track playing, 3 times the entire thing in different sections of the fight. It just was not worth going back to editing. I'm sorry about that. But anyways, I got 1 Mahar, 1 normal, and then 1 Jiva/Heva, which is in the Ride deck. Yes! I genuinely, of my own accord, chose to make that this deck. Why? As a joke. Just as a joke, because I can and I will, I was like, sure, let's make this how the deck works. And I'm gonna spoil something, so I'm sorry for spoiling this. I'm assuming all of you have watched the other one yet, and if you haven't watched the the actual fight itself and not me commentating over it, if you don't want to get spoiled, go watch the original video, the one where I'm not talking in it, outside of 1 clip, and, or technically 2 clips. Go watch that video, and you'll kind of figure out what well, go watch that video before I spoil it, and that's your warning, because now I'm going to spoil it. Nirvana wins by a landslide. Nirvana won, there were 4 games played. Game 1, 2, and 3, the real Game 2, not the one used in this video. The Rios 1, 2, and 3. Nirvana won them all. I'm not joking. And if you think they were close, Game 2 was close. Game 2 was legitimately close. It was a 16-minute round. The reason why I'm not using that Game 2 is because it genuinely was 16 minutes long, and I did not feel like sitting through that, especially, again, with editing. But it was actually a good game, and I got to bring out Mahar, which was fun. It was at the very end too. Like I had top deck Mahar. Not like it made the difference. It was just something I felt like I should say. And in the end, neither deck died to 6 damage. They both actually died to, or not both. Both almost died to deck out. Nirvana had 4 cards left. It had seen all of its overdresses. I don't remember what the last normal unit was, but there was 1 normal unit, and there were 3 triggers. Heal, the normal was on top, and there was a heal, I want to say there was a crit, and then I want to say there was a draw at the bottom. And in that order, by the way. Which was very interesting, and I now have to turn this back down, thanks to Overlord's theme being 10 times louder than the fucking Bermuda Triangle one. By the way, the Overlord theme, how I do all my themes is I up them to 200, and then I just leave them at that. That Bermuda theme is up to 400, and then it has like a special volume theme that should double its volume amount. And like I said, because it was recorded at night, it's not very loud. But, anyways, wait, where was I going with this point? I completely forgot what I thought. Oh yeah, in the real game too, the original one, Wilista did lose to deck out because both decks drove check and damage checked all of their heals and over respectively. Neither of them drove checked their overs, obviously, otherwise that game would have ended much quicker. Both of them damage checked their overs, and both of them sacked 4 heals. I could not, well, except for Nirvana, obviously, because Nirvana still had 1 left in deck, but you get the point. Like, it's interesting how it happened, to say the least. And, yeah. Again, I say, Game 2 was close. This Game 1 and Game 3, which was actually Game 3, and then, like I said, this Game 1 is actually real. The only one you're not seeing is the real Game 2. Nirvana, no, it was not close. You could say it was close when you look at, like, quote-unquote, how close the damage counts were. No, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't, because, let's just say the damage count isn't the way you tell if it's close, or, like, hand presence. Hand presence is a good way to tell if it's close or not, especially with damage considered, but if, like, your opponent has a 10 times better board than you and, like, 2 big-ass beat sticks, it ain't close at all, and you know it. So, yeah. Nirvana kind of throttled Wilista 3-0, and I literally begged Nirvana to lose, and the Game 2, because we all know I like to have each deck win a game so I can have an actual Game 3. To your guys' knowledge, again, I just kind of spilled the beans that this game doesn't have a genuine Game 3. Game 2, where Wilista actually wins. Wilista did win on a fair merit, but in the original recording, on the last turn, and we'll see it when we get there, I fucked up, and Nirvana actually survived. And Nirvana won on the next turn, and I realized I fucked up, and I was like, let me just rewind that entire bit, because I don't feel like playing again, because I need to get the video done. And that's what I did. I just rewound it, because I'm pretty sure I could get Wilista to win a game eventually, but I didn't feel like sitting here and watching Nirvana just kick Willista's ass, as fun as that would be to see. Because again, this deck, oh yeah, I forgot, it has a 1-of copy of Clad and Prayers. This deck is straight up running run-ofs of everything that isn't the Prayer Dragons and PGs, and Trick Stars, okay, and Triggers. Like, and the surprising part is that it works. Like, that's genuinely the surprising part. And in my thought process, it's because of its versatility, you know, like, it has a pseudo-persona ride in the OG Nirvana, and the Mahar, and that can also do a bop damage. You have board spamming presence of Hyeva. Then you also have just cross overdresses outright power to retire stuff, such as Brahmin Bar. Then you have Valiente and Expecta and Inspire Radiate to hit for numbers and, like, do extra damage, quote-unquote, because 2 of them can restand and 1 of them has extra critical. And then we have Garo, who can be a nice pressure. We have Bills and Urger. I forgot about that. Let me just quickly rewind that. Let's just play that back again. Oh, wait, that's before the, okay.
What the?
Yeah, that was actually my legitimate response when in the original video, and I tried playing it in editing, but the issue is that there was legit copyright music over it. It was Jorno's theme, and that happened later in this game too, because I have Jorno's theme twice on my music playlist, because there's a piano version, and then there's like a legit piano, and then there's like, you know, the anime version of it. So I have like those two, and they're like on like kind of opposite. They're still like towards the middle, but they're on opposite middle ends of the playlist, so as I was playing through the game, I at some point like had another realization, and I yelled something, but I said something at actually decent volume, and I tried playing it, but then the issue is I could still hear the music and editing, and I was like, I'm not gonna try to sit through this and figure it out. I'm gonna just do this instead. Like this was like that right there was my selling point, the fact that I actually had a lot of good things to say in this video, and I couldn't say any of them because of goddamn copyrighted music. I really have to stop doing that, because there are a lot of times that I've done this and that it won't, and now it's screwing me over, but whatever. Anyways, yeah, like, Nirvana is kind of versatile in this one, because like I said, retire, big numbers, good defensive cards, and it can just grade 1 rush like hell apparently, and it has good searching. As dumb as this deck looks, and I admit, the idea behind it was dumb. Literally, the only reason I built this deck the way it was because I was thinking of how do I want to add mirror, and I was thinking, do I want to get rid of, like, do I want to, like, do my deck differently than before, where when I had it focused on Braum and, what's it called, Braum and Valiente, do I want to focus it now on mirror and arts or something like that? And my thought process here was, you know what? What happens if I run all of them at 1-ofs? What happens if I do it? And I genuinely did not think for a second Nirvana would win. I thought that maybe Nirvana would win one game off of the virtues of sacking triggers, but yeah, it didn't. It won on its own virtue. And if you're wondering why, if you're wondering the over from first game, if that made the difference, no, it didn't. We all know it didn't. If you looked at the game state of the first game at the end where Nirvana won, we all know very damn well that didn't make the difference. It's just that ended up being a little bit more flashy, because it still had Braum with enough to hit over, and then it still had I want to say it was Vils on board, and if it wasn't Vils, then it was Valiente. So either way, it was game that turn. It didn't matter how we looked at it. It was just the over made it more flashy. Anyways, then there's, of course, but that's just getting rid of that story. Let's go on to just, I guess, the grade 3s of, or not the grade 3s, but just like the new cards in general. All around, the new Wilista cards feel great. They feel genuinely good. They get numbers, which is amazing. And if you're wondering why I'm putting the over on Trickstar, it's because Trickstar is, you can see the play, right? Like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm recording this game the day after I record Zorga, and if you paid attention to the Zorga commentary, I said in that one that I wanted to play all overdresses and cross-dresses respectively, and I took that because, do you want me to guard that with this hand? And I said in that video that I wanted to, you know, use all over and cross-dresses, and I almost did. I hate myself now, because I'm like analyzing the situation, and now that I think about it, the only one to my memory, like out of all the games, like even if we don't count, like even if we count the game that you guys are probably never gonna see, I will link that video eventually. It won't be like public, but it will be like unlisted. God, I should put that in the comments to check the unlisted, but where I'll show off that game. But if we count that game, the only overdress / crossdress I didn't use this entire match, like all those 4 games, was the original Virena. I'm not joking. Well, that and Esper Iridia. Because I never drew Esper Iridia while I was oh, that was the overdress that was remaining. The last card in deck for the normal unit. It was an Esper Iridia. I remember that for the original game too. But anyways, as I said before, I wanted to use all my overdresses, and I rarely go into bar. Did I know dropping Expecta was the dumb idea because I could have gotten Expecta up with Strigali over here? Yes, I knew exactly what was going on. But my thought process was, I'm never going to get to use bar again, and again, this is technically game 4 for me, and I do want Wilista to win, so I'm kind of like, it technically doesn't count as throwing because I would do this anyways, but there is now a little bit more incentive to me to do this. So there's that. But yeah, as we see, Nirvana popped up. Believe it or not, this shows up a little bit too often, even though it's a 1-of. Granted, all these show up too often, considering they're a 1-of. I'm not, again I say, I'm not joking. I need to stress this enough. I need to make sure this gets through people's heads. Everything in this deck that isn't a Prayer Dragon, a PG, or a Trickstar, or a Trigger is a 1-of. I'm not joking. I'm genuinely being serious here, because it doesn't look like it, or it may not seem like it, because I keep drawing the same cards. But that's what happens when you have a bunch of 1-ofs. You just draw them the same amount that you do normally. And it's, because they're like so like a little bit different in their skills, but just enough similar, the consistency works. It's dumb, it's stupid, I don't understand it, whatever. Anyways, back to what I was saying before about the Wilista stuff. All around, like, it feels pretty solid. I love how in this one we can bounce gems, because I remember there was a game in Deer Days, I want to say, where if I had been able to actually bounce gems, I would have been fine. And thankfully it can. It can get one out of Soul, it can get one from Drop, which is great. You can now do 5 attacks, which is perfect. Now I don't have to call 2 of you and then proceed to realize that it only gets rid of back center, so I can't do double restands. Now I can legitimately do double restands with the same unit. This, though I didn't go for it this game for whatever reason. There's the over. And, oh yeah, we're actually about to get to that misplay that actually lost Willis to the original version of Game 4 before I realized it and then took it back and then just, you know, pretended like that didn't happen. And I feel like I either edited it perfectly to where you couldn't tell, or I edited it weirdly and you could definitely tell. But, yeah, those PGs are really coming in handy right now. Anyways, I like the Wilista being able to search, and I like that she can proc off 2 abilities at once thanks to the order. And then not to mention the fact this thing being able to send stuff to Soul is so great. Helps you filter out grade 3s, helps you set up for next turn by sending that order to Soul, because honestly, True-Hearted Ruby is better for drawing's sake, but if you want, like, you know, the abilities, you're going to want the other one more. And then, obviously, we have these pretty good 5k booster, which is pretty solid, and the only other grade 1 in this deck that isn't a PG or the grade 1 in the Ride deck. It's just all around pretty solid. It's a good deck, and I love playing it. And then there's Nirvana, which, again, I say, I expect, even right there, I didn't get to play it. I didn't get to say it because, again, copyright music. As I pulled that front, I said, Nirvana, don't. Please do not win this. Do not pull another trigger. Because, again, this is Game 4, and I don't want to sit through another match trying to get Wilista to win. But pull front trigger, thankfully, Nirvana doesn't pull second. Braum goes in by every no choice possible. I have to take this because that's a 51. The highest I could guard for it was a 38. That column dies because double restands is plausible. And then Bar goes in for something. I really wanted to use Bar's skill. I really wanted to use Bar's skill so I can say I used both of them. But the issue was that there was one rear guard too many. And, yeah. You saw how the camera tilted a little bit? That's how you know I probably changed the game state. Normally, whenever the camera tilts, it's probably a game state thing, or maybe it's because I had to close tabletop for whatever reason, and then I reopened it to finish the game. Yeah. That time was oh, I need to turn on my brightness a little bit. That time was because I actually forgot to put the overboost. And Nirvana had survived this by literally these 2 hand cards. I'm not joking. If you don't believe me, watch till the end of this turn. Most of that was the same, by the way. Most of this was the same. The difference here is I drew a draw trigger the first time instead of a heal, so it kind of makes a difference on the numbers, but I still called it to there anyways. Soul Blast out the Ruby, that's the same, get the plus 15. If only I could search a gem at this point, because that's honestly what made the difference. First check, draw trigger. I don't remember if that happened the first time. No, wait, no, that did happen the first time. Second check, no trigger. I don't remember if I pulled a grade 3 in the drive check or not the first time, and that's what decided the game. Now, let's look at the numbers. Because I didn't play a gem this turn, this is 10 plus 13 is 23 without the overboost. 23, 5k drop. 20 plus 5, 25. 20k drop. I am not joking to you. When I first saw that, I was so upset because I knew Nirvana had won. And again, I say, I don't hate Nirvana. I love Nirvana. Nirvana's my main. And getting to play this deck, which is a stupid combination of all 3, is really fun. And it's great. But I really needed it to lose so I could get a video done. And it was refusing to lose to the very end. So, like, yeah, I jokingly said, too, this is game 2. This is game 2 all over again. Ah! They're both sacking heals. Mainly Nirvana. But, thankfully, it didn't go out that way, and thankfully, Nirvana did end up losing eventually, even though it literally took, like, the over to win. If it wasn't for the over having a continuous effect, it would have legitimately gone to Nirvana, which is the sad part. But, it's fine. They won in the end. In this game, now, wait, is this the game oh yeah, this is the game I think it is. This game has me, like, being reminded of an experience from the Orphis game with Zorga. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the Zorga Masquez versus Orphis video, and you'll kind of get an instication of what I'm talking about. But yeah, that was me trying to debate what I'm going to send to Soul. I don't know why I debated on sending the order to Soul when I wanted that for later, but whatever. Because honestly, I don't like fetching the order from Wilista's ability from Soul. I like fetching it from hand. Honestly, or from drop. Honestly, to God, I love that. Yeah, I don't know why I did that there either. That was probably the misplay that killed me. I mean, this game was over regardless in a few turns, but that may have been the move that killed me. Because let's just take a count now. That's 1, 2, 3 cards, 4 cards, 5 cards in my hand that I can't guard with. Out of what, 10? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's exactly 5 cards. Half my hand is literally incapable of guarding. And yeah. Also, I just gotta say this about this grade 1 Prayer Dragon. That thing is so fucking good. It is so amazing. Like, not even just in this deck, just in normal cross-dress, because it gets the top 7 search, and normally I only see 1 Virina, and here is the first time I saw 2. I don't remember if it was this game, or like, I don't remember which game in general it was, but I know somewhere during these 4 recordings, and I still have the original game 3, or the original game 2, and I am tempted to pull it up, but it has like no editing, and I'll have to turn down the volume, because it does have copyrighted music in it, and I'll just have to talk for a total of like 16 minutes. It does, I do genuinely have all of them, by the way. But I know at some point that grade 1 procs off and shows 2 grade 3, 2 Virinas, and I think it may have just done that now with the Garo. But that's great, honestly, because I love doing that, and it's amazing getting to see each one go off and procking off combos. And I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh yeah, that's me searching Expecta. And I don't remember if I went into Mirror. I did not. I went right into Expecta. Okay then. So free 15 and yeah, or 18 actually. Yeah, 18. And this kind of was bullying incarnate, because, like, even though Expecta can't use its ability to get 10k and a crit, you gotta remember, these are 2 rear guards that are now swinging for plus 30s, and the second I drove checked that, by the way, the second I drove checked Clyde and Prayers, again, a 1-of, I legitimately said, oh, next turn is gonna be fun, next turn is gonna be so much fun. Word for word, that's what I said, and most likely that exact same tone, too. And, yeah, so let's just take a count on how many cards I can't guard with again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6! Ha! I wonder how this game is gonna end. I wonder where all my guard... Why did I discard that? Don't ask me. I honestly don't know. I think the plan was to probably go double these, and then I immediately changed it halfway through, and then ditch that to... It was either ditch that to add it back to hand or just not use the skill, but either way, that was going to go to hand, or stay in hand. But call the thing, send that to Soul, I guess, for reasons. I can't explain why. Top 5. Yeah, I don't add the Wilista because I just want the draw, because I feel... Because I am realizing at this point, I can't guard, and this one... I don't know why, but I remember I saw this and thought it was a 15k shield for some reason, so I was like, I'm fine. But again, we say... Look at our hand. Half of it, once more, is actually more than half of it this time is unguardable, which sucks, because that means, you know, we have a big beat stick of double critical coming, 33k base, and restander. And again, yeah, exactly what I said there. I'm not shuffling the heel back because I want to see crits this turn. And let's just say the gods hate me, but we swing at the Vanguard for 13. I learned again, I would have boosted, because game 2 is where I learned that I had to boost to, you know, make better columns, and again, oh, come on, are you kidding me? Originally, that was supposed to be like an actual line, but again, editing at the last minute was so not worth it, but yeah, again, like half our hand now is legitimately useless. I don't know why this deck like wanted this. You see, that's a weird thing too. This deck has like the same ratio of guarding as my other deck, such as Orphis does, and yet somehow this deck gathered less guarding power than Orphis somehow managed to, which doesn't make sense. But me guarding to force an attack on Expecta, because originally it was the Vanguard, but I was like, I remember Clyde and Prayers in hand. Yeah, no. That, I gotta say, that continued skill of Expecta comes in handy, and this is final turn. I consider going into Nirvana, but I'm like, nah, I want the restanding, so we give the total plus 30 to Braum, because I'm pretty sure you get the plus 10 before you get the restand. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how my friend says it works, so, and I trust him. But we go in 43 with Braum, and this is not where I realize it's game. I'm like, cool, I'm safe. And then as Expecta swings, and I'm about to guard, this is when I realized I'm fucked. Because look at it. 1 card that can guard, 2 cards that can guard, intercept for 3 cards. What is everything else? A grade 3. What's this definitely going to do when it restands? Swing with double critical. I have no choice but to take this and prey on a trigger, which I don't see. Nirvana swings. Counterblast 1 and stand. And here's where I had hope. I had hope that I could survive. Not realizing that... Okay, first up, that was dumb of me. I could have very much 2 to pass this, because I can't block the other 2 regardless of how we look at this. But, and this honestly would have been a better call next turn anyways. But, you can... At that point, I knew I was dead. Because this is a guaranteed hit, and unless the over's on top, or a heal, this is double critting game. So... Oh yeah, and that also hits, by the way, which, again, I should have guarded for 2 to pass. I don't know why I didn't. And I don't know why I was going with Braum first. I guess it was just to bully the hell out of the rear guards, but, yep, Soul Blast 1, kill the column, so even if they do live this, they now have to rebuild from no boosters, which is kind of hard to do now. And that, my friends, is game, because I'm going to tell you right now, Wilista cannot win this. It is out of their hands. So, that is pretty much the end of this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. That's what happens when stupid bullshit occurs, and yeah, just whenever I do something stupid, sometimes that happens. Nirvana wasn't meant to win, like I said at the start of that video. At the start of this one, I said Nirvana wasn't meant to win. And it did, by some miracle, in a 3-0 sweep before I played one more match where I actually forgot to put the overboost on it, and Nirvana won because of it. And I had to redo that end of the game section, like I didn't have to redo the whole game. So I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed. I can't wait to go play that deck more, run it against my friends, and see what the hell they think, because that's going to be fun to bully them with. So, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, just go to follow Twitch, comment down what you think, and I'll see you all in the next one, and comment down below also what other commentaries you want me to do, if you guys want me to do more commentaries. So, I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, don't forget to follow Twitch, and don't forget to send up your Vanguards.